Good morning. Today's first reading comes from 1 Kings 12:26-32 and 13:33-34. Jeroboam thought to himself, "The kingdom will return to David's house. If now his people go up and offer sacrifices in the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem, the hearts of his people will return to their master, Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they will kill me." After taking counsel, the king made 2 calves of gold and said to the people, "You have been going up to Jerusalem long enough. Here is your God, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt." And he put one in Bethel and the other in Dan. This led to sin because the people frequented those calves in Bethel and Dan. He also built temples on the high places and made priests from among the people who were not Levites. Jeroboam established a feast on the 8th month and the 15th day of the month to recreate in Bethel the pilgrimage feast of Judah, with sacrifices to the calves he had made, and he stationed in Bethel priests of the high places he had built. Jeroboam did not give up his evil ways after this, but again made priests for the high places from among the common people. Whoever desired it was consecrated and became priests of the high places. This was a sin on the part of the house of Jeroboam, for which it was to be cut off and destroyed from the earth. And that is the word of the Lord. Our gospel reading comes from Mark 8:1-10. In those days, when there again was a great crowd without anything to eat, Jesus summoned the disciples and said, "My heart is moved with pity for the crowd, because they have been with me now for 3 days and have nothing to eat. If I send them away hungry to their homes, they will collapse on the way, and some of them have come a great distance." His disciples answered him, "Where can anyone get enough bread to satisfy them here in this deserted place?" Still he asked them, "How many loaves do you have?" They replied, 7. He ordered the crowd to sit down on the ground. Then, taking the 7 loaves, he gave thanks, broke them, and gave them to his disciples to distribute, and they distributed them to the crowd. They also had a few fish. He said the blessing over them and ordered them distributed as well. They ate and were satisfied. They picked up the fragments left over, 7 baskets. There were about 4,000 people. He dismissed the crowd and got into the boat with his disciples and came to the region of Dalmanutha. And that is the gospel of the Lord. Brothers and sisters, I love how they let us into the heart of Jesus here and his great compassion for his people. He presents this seemingly impossible situation to the apostles, who respond with nothing but questions and statements of impossibilities, as if to say, why try at all? How often do we resign to this same attitude of doubt and fear when presented with what seems to be an impossible situation? It seems like there are several examples of faith defeating what seems impossible all over the Bible. The parting of the Red Sea, the bringing down of the walls in Jericho. How about Mary, who believed the impossible and became the mother of all those who believe? Matthew 19:26 says, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Mark 10:27, "With men it is impossible, but not with God." Luke 1:37, "With God nothing will be impossible." We are told over and over again. But how do you trust God when things seem impossible? Pray with me. Holy Jesus, how quickly I can lose faith, believing in things I can touch and see more than your promises and strength. But I believe that you are the bread of life. You created me and you provide for me every day for my every good, especially having to do with my soul. Help me, Lord, to see with my spiritual sight, even when you lead me along the paths of the cross and forgiveness. Give me the gifts of faith and hope, love and compassion. Help me to understand that with you, there is no bounds and no limits. Help me to believe, trust, and walk in faith when met with what seems impossible. Lord, I know you will provide what I need. In Jesus' holy name, amen.